What would you consider Meghan's biggest achievement? Most will probably think it was her time on Suits. I personally believed it to be marrying Prince Harry. However, she's taken that opportunity and unfortunately run it thoroughly into the ground. So where does that leave us? Well, the one achievement that Meghan loves to point out in every interview is something quite ridiculous. Let's get to the crunch. It seems that ever since she waved goodbye to her royal gig, she's accumulating awards faster than a toddler collects shiny pebbles on the beach. Since leaving the royal family, Meghan has bagged herself 5 awards. But what was her biggest achievement? Was it her most recent feminist award for fighting the patriarchy? Most recently, she received the Miss Foundation for Women's Women of Vision Award. This prestigious accolade being bestowed upon her for her apparently tireless efforts to empower and advocate on behalf of women and girls globally, and handed over by none other than the venerable journalist and social activist Gloria Steinem. This grand celebration was to honour Meghan's unwavering commitment to the education and empowerment of women. She's not just a duchess. She's a feminist, a crusader for human rights, and a global role model whose greatness knows no bounds. But no, this is not her greatest achievement. Why, you might ask? Because her work encourages all women to be empowered, except for Catherine, Princess of Wales, our Queen Camilla, Princess Charlotte, and you get the point. Next, was it her Entertainment Award? In the 48th Annual Gracie Awards, Meghan managed to snag the Top Entertainment Podcast Host Prize for her absolutely riveting archetypes. A podcast series so groundbreaking because it had single-handedly took on the labels that dare to hold women back. The only problem that was slightly overlooked was the fact that none of her guests were bothered in the slightest about a little bit of name calling. She asked Serena how awful to be called ambitious. Serena sort of hints that in between working on the strength of her serve, her outfit, and analysing her opponent's weaknesses, she didn't have much time to spend on the name calling. This was a common theme in the podcast with Mariah Carey. She asks about how horrible it was to be called a diva, and Mariah actually loved being called a diva. She then even calls Meghan a diva, who is, of course, offended by the label. It's very awkward. You must listen to it.
Give us diva moments sometimes, Meghan.
What kind of diva moments do I give you?
Don't act like you. It's also the visual. It's the visual.
She meant diva as a compliment, but I heard it as a dig.
Needless to say, I'm sure that none of these women have ever talked to Meghan again. As entertaining as it was to listen to her crash and burn in a terribly embarrassing manner, as she desperately tried to prove her theory that powerful and successful women are all giant snowflakes just like her, this was not her biggest achievement. And why? Because just after one season, it was cancelled by the lack of anyone wanting a second season demand. So was her biggest achievement the Netflix drama, resulting in Meghan and Prince Harry clutching the 2022 Ripple of Hope Award from the Robert F. Kennedy Human Rights Organization. This award essentially certified them as masters of social change, defenders of equity and justice warriors. They even managed to tie a fancy new collaboration between Archewell and the organization, all while elegantly exposing structural racism and unconscious bias within the royal family.
Rude and racist are not the same.
Bravo, Meghan and Harry, for your honourable fight against racism. No, wait, that's right. They later denied that they had ever said racism or called anyone a racist.
You accuse members of your family of racism. You don't even...
No, we didn't.
Well,
The British press said that.
right.
Did Meghan ever mention that they were racist?
Maybe I did and maybe I didn't.
Well, did you?
Yeah!
If I was the RFK Human Rights Organization, I would be ripping that award back out of their hands faster than a dog on a rabbit. Her biggest achievement must be the 2022 NAACP President's Award, which found its way into their hands after their tireless efforts for social justice and equity were recognized. From vaccine equity promotion to supporting a women's shelter in Texas, Meghan and Harry were heralded as modern-day champions. It's almost like they have a superhero cape stashed away somewhere. Hold on. Does that include the time Meghan went to the homeless women's shelter filled with specifically pregnant women wearing a £3,390 cashmere black coat from Max Mara? Didn't she get the briefing? These women don't have a home, and on top of that, they are pregnant. The last thing they want to see is Meghan swooning around in a coat that costs more money than they will see all year. Talk about tone deaf, Meghan. Honestly, they will give an award out to anyone these days. So no, this is certainly not her greatest achievement. In fact, this might be one of her lowest moments. So that's it. There is just one more we cannot forget. The 2021 Change Champions Award. As Meghan and Harry embraced their new life, new American life, they managed to snag an award for their bold decision to have only 2 children. This splendid feat of having a sustainable family size was recognized by the British-based charity Population Matters, who evidently believed that the royal couple's reproductive choices deserved a standing ovation and a generous cash prize. Well, considering the mounting evidence that Meghan used a surrogate for her second child, allegedly.
Being pregnant is exhausting. I'm expected to grow an entire human and bend down to put on my shoes. Bending over to put on your shoes is not only uncomfortable for you and your baby, but for some of us, it's physically impossible.
And she is, by some accounts, allegedly slightly older than we thought at the age of 47. I'm not saying I agree with this, it's just a rumor, but some might suggest that the choice was beyond her control. And honestly, the way she treated little Princess Charlotte at the wedding implies she doesn't really like children that much either. So no, this non-choice to only have 2 children is once again not her greatest achievement. That leaves us where? Well, those of you who have been following the Sussex's bumpy journey will know deep down in your hearts exactly what her greatest achievement is. Comment down below if you've guessed it. It is the time when Meghan was just 11 years old and she became an activist.
When I was just 11 years old, I unknowingly and somehow accidentally became a female advocate.
And I was talking about an experience that I had when I was 11 years old.
At the age of 11, I had seen a commercial at the time that I found to be very sexist. And, you know, truth be told, at 11, I don't even think I really knew what sexism meant. I just knew that something struck me internally.
I was 11, seeing a commercial that I thought felt sexist and doing something to change that. I was really young. When I was 11 and I saw something that was wrong on TV, I put pen to paper and wrote a letter about it.
This commercial came on with the tagline for this dishwashing liquid, and the tagline said, "Women all over America."
Women all over America are fighting greasy pots and pans.
Are fighting greasy pots and pans.
And 2 of the boys in my class said, yeah, that really belong in the kitchen. And I went home and I said to my dad, this is crazy and I have to do something. And he said, why don't you write some letters?
Now, my 11-year-old self worked out that if I really wanted someone to hear me, well, then I should write a letter to the First Lady. So off I went, scribbling away to our First Lady at the time, Hillary Clinton.
and I wrote a letter to Linda Ellerby, who hosted a show called Nick News W5 then. I wrote a letter to Gloria Allred, and I wrote a letter to...
1,000 times later, we get it, Meghan. When you were 11 years old, you wrote a letter. Congratulations! The whole world knows now just how brave you were when you were 11. Now, this, without a shadow of a doubt, is her greatest achievement. Can somebody please tell her to find another anecdote? Anything. Make one up even. She's good at making stuff up. Someone said she was being fired from Suits. She was a bad actress and rude with the other actors and actresses. This is something I would like to know more information about. I have not researched it yet. I don't know much about her time in Suits. So if you can elaborate on this comment, I absolutely love it and I would love to know more. So those of you out there who are more in the know than me, please let me know what went on there. I do know, of course, Reitman's had a tough time with her. She's had tough times on other campaigns as well, but this one I have not heard yet. So I would love to know if there's any evidence out there that she was about to be fired. I want to know. Someone else said, I believe Meghan just couldn't handle royal life because she was not at the top of the pecking order. She couldn't stand having to give way to more senior royals, and her behavior signified insecurity, inferiority, and lack of grace and humility. But humility is not something I would associate with Meghan Markle, that's for sure. And of course, you do need a lot of it to be in the royal family. Many before have said she could not stand walking behind Harry or Kate even, or having to curtsy. Of course, we know how difficult it was to curtsy to someone else, to anyone else really, even the Queen, which is quite shocking. Someone else said, she's a narcissist, so what does anyone expect? They play a victim, blame others, they are entitled, dismissive, and always talk behind people's backs. They also spread rumors. I'm sure Harry by now knows if he leaves her, she will do a smear campaign like no one's business. She's probably already warned him of this. Regardless, she'll do it anyway. Once he outs her, then she'll start. Ready. I do not doubt this theory at all. It could be the reason that keeps them together forever. Who knows? The fear of him leaving and his dirty secrets getting out. As we know, if the royal family accepts him back, they will maybe, in a very discreet way, reveal some of her deeper secrets too. Those of you who know about the yacht girl days or the alleged yacht girl days, nobody really knows if they're true or false yet. And I'm sure some tangible evidence would be surfaced in the case of a war between Harry and Meghan. Someone else said she looks as if she's going to cry every time someone ignores her, and she looks as if she would rip off the head of anyone, including her mother, if they interrupt her. The problems with malignant narcissists. And lastly, just for a little bit of fun, comment below, who do you think would win in a cat fight between Meghan and Catherine? I know who I think would win. I know who I'd want to win, and I know who I think would win. It's a bit of a cheeky question, but let us know what you think down in the comments. Give this video a like if you too want Meghan to stop retelling the same old story, and subscribe to help our crown family blossom. See you down in the comments.